Hi, this is Lisa Rangel with Chameleon Resumes, the premier executive resume writing company, and thank you so much for joining me today. So today we're going to talk about 4 observations in the LinkedIn profiles of the unemployed. These 4 observations, and frankly there's more, but these are the most common that I see, are observations that I see when people reach out to me, indicating that they've been looking for a job for a while, they've been unemployed for a while, and I see these 4, and sometimes more, but I see these 4 items or issues with their LinkedIn profile. And here's the thing: it's not to say that people don't get hired because they don't have any of these things. That's not true. I mean, hired people sometimes have some of these things, but I just see them as common symptoms of a bigger problem, which I'll get into in just a minute. Once I tell you what they are, it'll make sense. So the first common trait or common observation that I see in a LinkedIn profile of someone when they're not working is that they have under 500 connections. Now that is like a basic threshold nowadays. Like, you really need to make sure you have that above 500 connection threshold. And it's not simply, a collection of names or a collection of people to connect to, but really go back through your history and, who did you know from your neighborhood? Who did you know from high school, from college, from all of your prior employers, different aspects of your life, with regards to your neighborhoods, right? Because some people may have moved a few times, but who did you get to know? What circles were you in? But your network is multidimensional, and it may sound overwhelming to get to 500 connections, but honestly, most people really can. So I challenge you to do that. And the logic behind it is, I want you to think of LinkedIn as one big web, right? One big web. Imagine your hand as a web. And the more people you're connected to, as those individuals, first degree, second degree, third degree connections do searches for people like you, you have a greater chance of coming up in the search when you are a part of a number of people's webs. So the more people you are connected with, the more webs you're a part of, the more likely you can come up in a search when people search their network, right? You can be more likely in someone's first degree, second degree, or third degree connection web if you're connected to more people. So I want you to just think of that in a practical sense. So the quality matters as well, right? Like, people that you don't know, that aren't in your industry, that aren't at your level, or you don't know at all. Like, I'm not saying you should only connect with people that are in your industry or on your level, but like when they don't check any boxes, and you're not interested in what they do on top of it, like, you have to wonder how qualitative is your network. So be qualitative. It doesn't mean don't take risks. It doesn't mean that you have to know everybody, but just make sure you're either, know them, or you're in the same industry, or you're a similar profession, or you just have something in common, or they're inspiring to you in what they put out, or it's an industry you want to learn more about or be in. So there's a few ways that you should be motivated to connect with people, whether you know them or you don't. But there's ways to get above 500, and it's important to do that. The second observation that I see is that when I look at their profile before I've clicked on it, and it's just their name and their tagline underneath it, the tagline doesn't tell me anything. Like, I don't know what job they're going for. I don't know what level they're at. I don't know what they do by just looking at their tagline. So make sure that your tagline is keyword optimized and outlines what you're looking for and what you do. Especially if you're not working, you can really put out that you're looking for a job. You can put out there what type of job you're looking for. And then when you have the job listed in your tagline, you've also keyword optimized for that particular title that you're looking to fulfill in your next role. So you need to be keyword optimized for the title you want to fulfill from a searching standpoint, right? People are going to search on the title of the job that they're looking to fill. And if you have that title in your profile, in your tagline, as well as weaved in throughout the content, you're going to most likely come up in that search, especially if you're connected to more people, going back to number 1. And then you also want to visually confirm for the person reading and seeing your profile that you have what they need, and they should click to get more information, because your title underneath your name, your tagline, is indicating that that's what you do or what you're going for, or just something really clear about you. So just make sure you have keyword optimization in your title, in your tagline, for both visual validation and for search optimization. The third, and this honestly to me is probably the most debilitating, is that there's no way to contact you. I've stumbled upon profiles of people for various reasons, and I want to reach out to them. And if I've run out of in-mails, if we aren't connected, we say we're second or third degree connections, they don't have anything public listings of ways to reach them. Make sure you have one aspect of if you're doing a job search, have one aspect of your contact information be a phone number, an email address, a website. If you have a personal website, that then they can contact you through the website pretty easily. But make sure you have a way of being reached by people who are not in your first degree connections. I'm all for privacy. I definitely, respect people's need for keeping contact information on lockdown and things like that. But if you create something that you can put in a public facing manner, and put that in your contact information, and have that be the way that people reach you. And just make sure that email address, or if it's a Google Voice number, maybe that isn't your regular phone number, make sure it forwards to whatever you do check every day. But you need to have a way to get found. You need to have a way for people to reach you. So either make your contact information, some aspect of it, public facing so everyone can see it, and or put something in your tagline or the about section of your LinkedIn profile pretty high up, not the first thing, but pretty high up, where people then know how to reach you. And they don't have to be a first degree connection, because if you have your contact information set to only being seen by first degree connections, if a hiring manager, a recruiter, somebody who wants to network who's not your first degree connection can't reach you, and then they run out of in-mails, or you don't have that you're open to receiving messages from people you don't know, then how are you supposed to get found to get approached for a job? So these are just things you have to weigh. And I know that means when you do that, you might get some garbage outreach, but do you need to cut off the good outreach, trying to protect yourself from the bad outreach? That's what you have to weigh if you're making that decision. But definitely, if you're looking for a job, highly consider having some sort of public way to reach you. It's a big deal. And then the fourth thing that I see as a commonality amongst the profiles of those who are unemployed is that they don't list a current position, which obviously sounds logical because they don't have one. But I want you to do a search on YouTube, do the search on LinkedIn PSA Chameleon, and you will get my video that shows why you need a current position in your LinkedIn profile, and some suggestions of how to do that. Because it feeds the algorithm for you to show up in more searches, higher up in those searches when you have a current position. It's too much to get into here. I'm going to suggest that you go to YouTube and search on LinkedIn PSA Chameleon, and you will find my video on what the public service announcement is regarding how LinkedIn has a bias built into against the unemployed with needing this current position. But just trust me when I tell you, you need a current position, and you can structure your current position to advertise and highlight and be keyword optimized for the job that you're going for. So obviously I'm not saying create a current position and you don't have one. I'm not telling you to lie. I'm telling you to use the current position function to outline what you're looking for. And so this way you can be more readily found in searches, and you'll come up in more searches. So that's my 4 common observations that I see in the LinkedIn profiles of those who are unemployed. So, if you have any questions, feel free to share this. I'm not selling anything in this video today. Feel free to share the video, help everyone else who might be doing these tactics. These 4 tactics, if you can fix them, allow you to be more readily found, allow you to be easily contacted, and allow you to come up in more searches. and visually validate that you have what someone needs when they just look at your the snapshot of your profile before they click on the whole thing. So all 4 of these will help you put you back in the wild a little bit, more readily, so to speak. So nothing's a magic elixir, but I want to make sure you're taking all the steps that help you get found and get hired. So if you have any questions, just email me, lr@chameleonresumes.com, or DM me. And I'm going to put my email address up here as well. And you can go lr@chameleonresumes.com. If you know someone who might benefit from this video, I'm going to ask you to share it. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss next week's video. And if you like the video, I'm going to ask you to like it, and feel free to comment below for any other observations, because Lord knows there's more than 4 that you might notice in profiles of those who are unemployed. So we want to help everybody out. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.